Welcome to Top 10 Amazing Facts. Long before Elon Musk dreamed of electric cars, before Toyota mastered lean production, there was Henry Ford, the man who put the world on wheels. In today's video, we're taking a deep dive into Ford's life, his inventions, his controversies, and his lasting legacy. Stick around because you'll learn not only about the cars, but about the man who reshaped modern life. Don't forget subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss another Top 10 Amazing Facts deep dive. Number 1. Early life on a farm. Henry Ford was born on July 30th, 1863, on a farm in Dearborn, Michigan, during the Civil War. His parents, William and Mary Ford, were Irish immigrants, and he was the eldest of 6 children in a family of 4 boys and 2 girls. Although his father expected him to take over the family farm, young Henry disliked farm work and was fascinated by machinery. By age 12, he had taken apart and reassembled every watch he could find in his neighborhood. This natural curiosity and skill earned him a reputation as the village watch repairman. At 16, he left the farm to work as a machinist in Detroit. This move was pivotal as Detroit would later become the heart of the American automobile industry, largely because of him. Number 2. First car before Ford Motor Company. Ford's obsession with engines grew while he worked as an engineer at the Edison Illuminating Company in the 1890s. In 1896, he completed his first experimental vehicle, the Quadricycle. It had 4 bicycle wheels, a crude frame, and ran on ethanol. The steering wheel was more like a tiller, and it could only go forward or backward. The first drive was a spectacle. People watched in awe as Ford clattered down the streets of Detroit, dodging horses and wagons. Though basic, the Quadricycle proved Ford's vision was possible. Machines could replace horses as the primary form of transportation. Number 3. The birth of Ford Motor Company. After 2 failed car companies, the Detroit Automobile Company and the Henry Ford Company, Ford finally struck gold in 1903 when he founded the Ford Motor Company with 12 investors. Among them was Alexander Malcolmson, a Detroit coal dealer. The company started small, producing only a few cars at a time, but Ford's dream was bold. Unlike competitors who catered to wealthy elites, Ford wanted to create an automobile for the masses, a reliable, inexpensive car that a schoolteacher, farmer, or factory worker could own. Number 4. The Model T Revolution. Launched in 1908, the Model T became the car that defined a generation. Nicknamed the Tin Lizzie, it was durable enough for unpaved country roads, simple enough for amateur mechanics to repair, and affordable enough to be within reach of middle-class families. Initially sold for $850, Ford's production methods allowed him to slash costs so drastically that by the mid-1920s, a new Model T cost less than $300, equivalent to around $5,000 today. Families who had once never left their hometowns could now explore the countryside, commute to work, or visit relatives miles away. The Model T didn't just transform transportation, it transformed American culture and created a mobile society. Number 5. The assembly line innovation. Ford's greatest industrial contribution wasn't a car, it was the moving assembly line, introduced in 1913 at his Highland Park plant. Inspired by meatpacking plants in Chicago, Ford had the radical idea of bringing work to the worker, instead of having the worker move to the work. This cut assembly time for a car from 12 hours to just 90 minutes. The ripple effects were enormous. The assembly line concept spread beyond automobiles to virtually every industry: electronics, food processing, home appliances, even shipbuilding. It's fair to say Ford didn't just change how cars were made, he changed how everything was made. Number 6. Paying workers $5 a day. In 1914, Ford shocked the world by announcing a minimum wage of $5 a day, twice what most workers earned at the time. His goal was twofold: reduce employee turnover and ensure his workers could actually buy the cars they produced. Critics accused him of socialism, but Ford's plan worked brilliantly. The Ford Motor Company became a magnet for skilled workers. Turnover rates plummeted, and productivity soared. This move also helped create America's middle class. For the first time, factory workers had disposable income to spend on homes, cars, and leisure. helping fuel the consumer economy of the 20th century. Number 7. His global impact. Ford's vision wasn't limited to the United States. By the 1920s, Ford Motor Company had plants in England, Canada, Germany, and Japan. The Model T was a worldwide icon, appearing on dusty roads in Africa, cobblestone streets in Europe, and farmlands in South America. Ford's ideas became the blueprint for industrialization around the world. Countries modernizing their economies studied his factories, and Fordism, the idea of mass production paired with mass consumption, became a global economic model. Number 8. Personal life and family. In 1888, Ford married Clara Bryant. She was a suffragist and an important influence on his work. They lived in a 1,300-acre estate along the River Rough in Dearborn, Michigan. It was called Fair Lane after an area in Cork, Ireland, where his adoptive grandfather, Patrick Ahern, was born. Clara was Henry's lifelong partner and died on September 29, 1950, at the age of 84. She passed away 3 years after Henry Ford, who died of a cerebral hemorrhage on April 7, 1947, at age 83. Henry Ford and Clara Bryant Ford are buried side by side in the Ford family cemetery in Detroit, Michigan. They had one son, Edsel Ford, born in 1893. Henry was a tough father and often clashed with Edsel over business decisions. Edsel, who valued innovation and style, pushed for sleek car designs like the Lincoln Zephyr. Henry, on the other hand, stubbornly clung to the Model T far too long. Sadly, Edsel died of stomach cancer in 1943 at the young age of 49. Edsel Ford was married and had children at the time of his death. He was married to Eleanor Lothian Clay Ford. They wed in 1916 and remained together until his passing. Eleanor never remarried and lived until 1976. Edsel and Eleanor had 4 children: Henry Ford II, 1917 to 1987. He became president of Ford Motor Company after Edsel's death. Benson Ford Sr., 1919 to 1978. He held leadership roles within Ford, including overseeing the Mercury division. Josephine Clay Ford, 1923 to 2005. She was a philanthropist whose foundation supported arts and cancer research. William Clay Ford Sr., 1925 to 2014. He purchased the Detroit Lions and was a major shareholder in Ford Motor Company. Edsel's death devastated Henry, who reportedly never recovered from the blow. After Edsel's passing, Henry briefly resumed control of the company, though by then his health was failing. Number 9. Controversies and criticism. Despite his brilliance, Henry Ford was a deeply flawed man. He openly expressed anti-Semitic views, even publishing them in his newspaper, the Dearborn Independent. These writings damaged his reputation and remain a dark stain on his legacy. He also strongly resisted labor unions. In the 1930s, violent clashes erupted between Ford's security forces and union organizers. The infamous Battle of the Overpass in 1937, where union leaders were brutally beaten outside a Ford plant, highlighted Ford's stubborn resistance to organized labor. While he helped create the modern middle class, he fought bitterly against the very unions that sought to protect it. Number 10. His legacy beyond cars. Henry Ford left behind one of the world's most influential industrial legacies. Beyond cars, his ideas shaped modern manufacturing, labor relations, and even our concept of time. The 40-hour work week, weekends off, and affordable consumer goods all trace their roots back to Ford's principles. Today, Ford Motor Company remains a global brand, but Henry Ford's true legacy lies in democratizing mobility. Before Ford, travel was limited and local. After Ford, ordinary people could live miles from work, take family road trips, and explore beyond their towns. He didn't just build cars, he built freedom. Bonus fact: despite his role in popularizing the automobile, Ford had a surprising interest in nature and conservation. He built the Ford Village Industries, small factories along rivers in Michigan that attempted to balance industry with the natural environment. Though not always successful, it showed Ford's awareness of industry's impact on nature, long before environmentalism became mainstream. And that's the story of Henry Ford, the genius, the innovator, the flawed visionary who forever changed the world. What do you think? Was Ford a hero, a controversial figure, or a bit of both? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more from Top 10 Amazing Facts. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.